Hey FlossTube. I was talking with another FlossTuber the other day. It's Belinda at AnItchToCrossStitch, and we were talking about different things. We were talking about soda projects, and she asked me about my Mirabilias. I had mentioned having a Mirabilia parade of sorts, and she took that to mean that I had done a video with all of my mirrors in one of them already. I had not. So I asked if she would like me to do a video showing just Mirabilias that I have stitched, and she said she would. So as I've explained before, some of you may have not heard this, most of my mirrors are completely stitched except for the beads, and I've explained this before. I do not have a frame yet. As soon as I get a frame, I will do the beading, but I don't want to break the beads by putting them back in the Q-snaps. I just want to do this safely, so I will bead them soon, but I will show them to you stitched just without the beads. So this is my first one here. This is Nora Corbett's Water Lily, and this is stitched on Sugar Maple Fabrics Gelato. Such a pretty piece of fabric, and it really pulls out the colors in her dress. I changed her hair slightly, made her hair slightly longer, and I gave her a touch of a profile. She had no profile before, and I smoothed out her legs a bit. You'll find in most of my mirrors I do corrections right off the bat. I don't really think about it. I don't really pre-chart it. I just kind of correct them as I go along. The next one is Lilac from Nora, and she is stitched on Picture This Plus Arbor, and I thought this piece of fabric actually looked perfect with her because the green in the background is so subtle, but the green in her dress really pulls it out. I don't think I changed her at all, and I don't think I stitched her 1/1 either. Most of them I have, but I did not change her at all, except I removed her wings. I'm sorry, I did take off her wings. Now this is Poppy, and I stitched this on a Silk Weaver Solo. It's really pretty light gray with some whites and a little bit of blue in it. I changed her skin so much that I made her look pudgy, and I've never been happy with that, and I took off her wings as well. I would prefer to take out her skin and redo her regularly with the wings on, but I don't want to rip out 1/1 on 32 count. That's a lot of torture right there. So that's that. I've gotten some comments on this one before, with good reason, because I think this one is gorgeous. This is my Queen Mermaid, and this is on a piece of heirloom fabric. There was a company years ago, Canadian company years ago, that made the most gorgeous fabrics. And they went out of business, but I was able to snag like 3 or 4 pieces from them. Beautiful. And I don't know why I keep saying beautiful today. That's just, I'm in a mood. I'll try to straighten up. And then I've done this one on, sorry, this is South Seas Mermaid. And this is also done on a Silk Weaver Solo, and this is one of the few linens that I've stitched on. I'm not a huge linen person. I really like my even weaves, but I loved the color in that, and I loved that it looks kind of like the corals coming up from the seabed. Really love that. Again, I didn't do her 1/1. I should have, because my mom stitched her with 1/1 skin, and she is phenomenal with 1/1 skin. And my mom changed her colors a little bit. So I'm still planning on having my mom come on and do a video with me one of these days when she's feeling better. She hurt her foot, and she she did a couple things just within the last couple weeks that have made her not so eager to do a video. But yeah, she's got a lot of stitching too that she can show. Well, this is called Silver Moon Tea, and this is also on a Silk Weaver Solo. Very pretty. This is a soft lavender with some blue in it fabric. It almost looks a little cloudy, which is fitting. If I alter anything, I'll tell you. I did, and I totally forgot. Again, it said Earl Grey on the bottom, and I changed it to Paris tea, because one of my favorite teas is from Harney, and it's called Paris. And I kind of have a theme with Paris going on. I have this beautiful lady. This is red. And this is stitched on a piece of fabric that a friend of mine dyed for me a number of years ago. She sold a lot of fabric, but she ended up going out of business after a time because she was having to give up stitching. And I don't know, I just love that piece of fabric. It just looks so rich. And I love the red. The color of her is just stunning. I don't think I changed anything on her. I've got Sweet Pea. Also on a Silk Weaver Solo. That's a running theme with a lot of my Miras. Because I got in a lot of amazing Silk Weaver Solos back in the day. The only thing I forgot to put on her the squiggles, her little trailing squiggles that are the Karen Water Lilies, and I took off her wings. I don't know why she had this weird hook on the back of her, but I took that off, and I gave her a little bit of a face from the side, and I smoothed out her feet a bit. This is one of my most recent finishes of Miras. And this one is called Mediterranean Mermaid, also on a Silk Weaver Solo. I really, really loved this fabric for her. I don't know why. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, that is what she's supposed to be stitched on. And I don't know, I just like it. I explained this before, I'll explain it again. I upped her outfit just a little bit, a couple of stitches upward, so that she was a little more covered. It was kind of like a lot of side cleavage kind of a look, so I upped that a bit. I did her skin 1/1. I'm getting better at doing the skin 1/1. There were a couple times I did it and wasn't happy, so then I didn't do it on some of them, but I'm getting better at it, so I'm back to that again. And then this one was very pretty. The colors are great. She's very long, so you'll have to bear with me if I have to hike this up a bit. This is Charlotte, and I changed her dress from lime greens to those lavender colors. And this is also a piece from Heirloom. It's lovely. Really, really nice. And her skin also is 1/1. I know not having them beaded yet is kind of like a letdown, but honestly, even though they're not beaded, there is still a lot of work put into these. They are majority done. They just don't have the bling yet. This is one of very, very few Miras that I have done on a solid fabric. And this is Bliss Fairy. And I stitched her on a very simple periwinkle Lugana. And I think it's great. I really don't think she needs much more than that. She's very pretty. I loved her colors. By the way, I think, yes I did, I think she was lime greens and yellows, and I changed her to purples. I did. I totally forgot that. I altered her, but she's very pretty. Then there is this one, which is Enchanted Dreamer, also stitched on a Silk Weaver Solo. Love it. I really, really love this piece of fabric. This is one of my favorite pieces of fabric because it's so ethereal looking. And also I stitched her skin 1/1, and I changed the pillow from a mustardy yellow color to a pink, and these wings were a warm pink, and I changed them to a lavender. This is the very first Mira I ever finished, ever stitched. And these are Mermaids of the Deep Blue. It's on a very softly modeled hand-dyed from Silk Weaver. The very first piece of hand-dyed fabric I ever had. At this point, if I were to stitch it again, I would definitely have it on a more loudly modeled piece of fabric. But they're very pretty. And I cannot tell you how eager I am to get the beads into them because they're going to be so pretty. Weird. They're going to be so pretty when I get them beaded up. And this is another one of my very few Miras that is not on hand-dyed fabric. This is Venetian Opulence, and she is a massive, massive girl. Oh my goodness, this hurts my arm. My shoulder is complaining at me. She is so amazing. She is so pretty. She's so pretty. I did not do her skin 1/1, but I do recall that while I was working on her, her hands bothered me, stitched the regular way. So I modified the hands a bit while I was working on her. And the weird line that's across there is beads of some kind. I think it's bugle beads or something like that. There's also supposed to be some whisper threads in her to be the poofy white feathery type look. There's also some of that to go in here yet. But I love her. She is so elegant. Most of my projects that I have really favorited are the very, very elegant ones. I like cute. I like chic. I love elegant. This, I will show you again, is the one little Mirabilia pattern that I have that is beaded. It's so cute. So sweet. I'm just trying to get a piece of fuzz. This one is so sweet. This one was stitched, so sorry, it's just having a life of its own. This one was stitched for my niece, and I never ended up giving it, but it's so cute. And like I've mentioned before, I did the skin 1/1, and the little flowers, little tiny rosebuds in there. So, so cute. I never saw anyone ever do that before, and that was, I don't know, I felt that was so great. The way I do my stitching now, with my pin stitch, I wouldn't be having all these trailing threads on the beads. That's a lot of trailing threads on the beads. I could redo that if I wanted to, but I think I'm not going to, because I'm not even sure where the beads are at this point. And, you know, I might actually want to end up doing something. This is not tight. Oh no, I'm discovering that I have a couple beads that are loosey-goosey that I might need to restring. Okay, now I'm going to show you, I have 3 more to show you. These are the 3 I've not shown in any of my videos before, so I've got to show you these ones. I have just gotten these washed and and flattened for you guys. I'm trying to remember her name. Oh, I forgot what her name is. She is so pretty. I will put the name below when I show this picture. She is, I think she's one of my favorites. She is so, so pretty. I don't remember what her name is. She's not Azalea, is she? No, I don't think so. Okay, she is so, so pretty. And I will tell you why. First of all, the colors. The colors are phenomenal. Her, the strings in her feet were a different color, and I changed it to pink. A fuchsia pink. I really like the fuchsia pink. I was originally going to take off the green flowers and just stitch her just her and stretch out her dress a bit. I realized, no, she would totally fade into this piece of fabric if I didn't put the greenery on there. She is stunning with the greenery. I gave her skin 1/1. I did her skin 1/1. And I will show you a comparison picture right here of the original. I gave her hair. Look at her hair! I was so thrilled with the way that turned out. I didn't chart it out. No one talked to me about it. I didn't think about it. I got her a little bit of hair that was like a pixie cut done, and then I just went for it, and I added little tendrils, and I gave her like some long hair flowing down the back. I was so thrilled with that one. I don't know, I just love that one. I can't wait to get some of these framed, and this is one in particular I'm so excited about. Then, this is another one I've not shown you before. And this one I kind of have a little bit of a regret on. I'm not totally loving this one, but I'm not doing anything about it. It's just, it is what it is. This is Fern on a silk weaver solo. No, I think this piece of fabric is, goodness, I can't remember what this piece of fabric is. It's just a soft minty green. Now, I gave her a face, which, this is my regret. I think I turned her too cartoony. She's very, very cartoony. And I gave her necklaces because when I smoothed out her skin, I made her arms a little too rounded and she looked a little too pudgy, so I thought, maybe if I add her a necklace, it'll kind of help to balance out the pudginess in the shoulders. It's okay, but I don't love it. But I'm not changing anything with it. It's gonna be that way. Okay, the last one I'm gonna show you is one of my favorites. She's very, very like ideal for me. Everything about her is like, it just fits me to a T. This one is Crystal Symphony. She's just stunning. She is also on a silk weaver solo, and it's got sorry, it's got like some almost like some brownie beigey tones in the background. I don't know how that works, but it really just works well. And the gold trim and the flowers in the corners. Chandelier. I love chandeliers. The reason why she fits me so perfectly is because my dishes, my fine china, for like special occasions, is the Royal Dalton Old Country roses. And if you don't know what that is, I will insert a picture here. It just fits. The flowers and the gold trim, it just fits. The only regret I have on this is the fact that this was one of the very first projects I tried stitching skin 1/1 on, and I didn't do it as smooth as I now know to do it. The skin is very blotchy. You can see she almost looks like a ghost who's scared and blushing or something. I don't know how to explain that. She looks very, very blotchy in the skin. If I felt like I could handle it, I could take this out and restitch the skin, but honestly, I feel like that would be too overwhelming. And it's a lot of work. Putting in 1/1 skin is hard enough, but ripping it out is even harder, and I'm not really up for that. I'm really, really not up for that. But she's so pretty. I really, really like her. I've seen different conversions of her in different colors, and I really, 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 really just like her the way she is originally. I think she's great, and I think this one is probably missing the most, not having it beaded right now, because she has so much beading in her, and I am so eager to see these framed and so eager to see them finished. I am going to love having a Mirabilia gallery. I can't tell you how excited I was getting this one framed. It just I don't know, I felt so like I accomplished something great, and I can't wait for that feeling to be however many fold with all of my new finishes. I mean, I've got to show you this pile, if you can just bear with me for a second. I counted them. I've got 22 Miras so far stitched, besides the beads. And I have 3 current whips that I've got to get back to, and I want to get them finished. I have untold Miras still to be stitched. Piles of patterns and hand-dyed fabrics that are set aside and waiting to go. I have piles of Miras that are they're cleaned and they're just in storage, waiting for the day when I can get the frame finally, and when I can get the beaded, and then have however many thousands I need to get these puppies framed. I'm so eager, but I'm gonna love each and every one of them, and it's just gonna be like one goal after another goal, and I don't have to do them all at once. I can do one at a time and just get that happy, warm, fuzzy feeling each individual time. I'm just so looking forward to it. So I hope you enjoyed this little prance through my Mirabilia stitches, and I hope maybe you're inspired to stitch some yourself. They are all beautiful, and I would love to get a conversation going. How many Miras have you guys stitched? Which ones are your favorites? Do you stitch them on hand dyeds? Do you stitch them on solids? I mean, what are your favorites? I would love to know how many you've done, and just get a conversation going. I thank you all for coming to visit me again. Thank you for liking and commenting. Thank you for being a loyal watcher. Until I see you next time, ciao for now.